Absolutely. Well, what I do admire about you is you say, well, I like acting, music. What else is there? You don't limit yourself. And you said, let's try modeling. How did that enter your life?
So, yeah, that was a cool experience. Because initially, like, I never thought of myself as a model because, I would see pictures of these like 6 foot tall, super skinny Amazon women. And I thought like, I'm not that, but there are so many different types of models and different types of modeling that I just had not been introduced to. So my first modeling gig was actually right around the time that I signed with my first agency. There was a girl that I had used to work with at Chick-fil-A. She was studying at Aveda to become a cosmetologist. And she was given this concept of a girl with crazy red hair, and she had to find someone that looked similar to this picture because she needed to recreate the image with her own interpretation for her final project to graduate from school. So she messaged me and was like, I think, you would be amazing, would be perfect for this. And I would like you to come down to Tampa and model for me. And then I did, took off work for the day, went down there, had a blast. And, there's still some of my favorite pictures, even though it was my first shoot, but still some of my favorite pictures to this day. And she just created this very unique avant-garde kind of look. And the photographer who was, shooting all of the models that day, she asked for my contact information. And she said that, I really love your bone structure and, just your look is so unique. And I want to, shoot, another session with you separately. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, that's cool. And, all the other models there, like, they were all beautifully, dressed and, like, their hair and makeup done up. But the photographer saw something in me that she just wanted to capture on camera, like, with a different concept. And then afterwards, I was asking the cosmetologist, my friend, I was like, did she ask anybody else for their information? And she was like, no, you were the only one. And so I was like, huh, okay, that's interesting. This is not something that I would have like sought after necessarily, but once I was given the opportunity to, I was like, yeah, I think I could do this. Okay. And at the time, I think I didn't realize how close of a relationship that acting and modeling really have. They're very close. I wouldn't say interchangeable, but you can definitely go from one to the other with ease. And so once I discovered that, I just started seeking out more opportunities. And then I ended up doing my second shoot a few months later with that same photographer and a hair and makeup artist that she's just phenomenal. And we still work together sometimes, even still years later. And so I started building up more and more of a portfolio and got more professional pictures, and it just kind of snowballed from there. Because once you meet someone that's already kind of in the industry, you're introduced to a whole slew of other people who are also connected in the industry, and they're like, oh, well, I know this person, I can get you in contact with him or her. So yeah, it's a very relational business, and it's kind of how it started for me.
Like with pictures, sometimes you are playing a character.
Right.
And just that snapshot. You have to portray all this, whatever it is.
Right. And it's a combination of the photographer's vision and, the hairstylist, what they're able to put together. And it's a very collaborative effort. And then, having a good model who's able to exude the emotions that you want is very important. So I think being an actress helped me as a model, for sure.
And not only does she do all that, but she also does some crafting, right?
I do. I'm a very crafty person. And I think, it's just another creative expression. Mm-hmm. So it's not really that much of a stretch to carry over, those creative abilities into making like tangible art. And art it's so much more than just a painting. It can be a sculpture. It can be, a piece of jewelry. It can be a poem. It can be a piece of music. It can be so many things and take so many different forms. So allowing myself to creatively express my love for art through physical things is something that I also love to do. And it's just like, it's very therapeutic for me. Mm-hmm. So like when I'm stressed out about something or I'm just not having a good day, I can go into my room and pull out, all of my junk that I've collected and just create something that's just, it's beautiful. And it allows me to like release whatever tension and, anxiety that I've been building up and make something beautiful out of it. So not only is it a way for me to like make a little bit of extra money on the side, but it's also a way for me to creatively express myself. And yeah, I do it in my free time when I have free time.
What kind of things do you craft?
So it's kind of like a random compilation of, just whatever I find and whatever inspires me. I love to go thrift shopping. It's one of my all-time favorite pastimes. I love thrift shopping, and I find things that, I can just, it may look, broken or junky or like discombobulated, but I'm like, oh, I see potential in this. Like I could do something with this. So I buy it, and eventually I get around to making something out of it. Just recently I'd gone yard sailing and I found, a bunch of this chicken wire, and there was, a chicken wire basket that had a broken handle. And for some reason I was just like, I'm going to do something with this basket. Yes, it's broken, but I think it has potential. So I took the basket home and I didn't start working on it right away, but I had this idea. It's usually late at night when I have these like crazy ideas and I have, this urge to create something. And I have a lot of yarn. I have a large yarn collection. So I decided to weave yarn in and out of the little holes in the chicken wire basket. And I really liked where it was going. And it turned out so beautiful. I finished it. And it's, just this colorful, vibrant little basket that used to be broken and bland and kind of boring. And it just like, it's this beautiful piece that I have in my room now. And I was going to sell it, but now I don't really want to now. Mm-hmm. But it's just, things like that where I find something that just inspires me and I just see the potential in it, and I'm just create something randomly beautiful out of something ordinary.
And you do have an Etsy shop for some of your items.
I do have an Etsy page.
For how long?
Things. It's been about a year now that I've had that. Yeah. So I have things from, like jewelry to scarves to articles of clothing that I've upcycled. I love to do vests, like jean and denim vests, because they're so like, it's very much of a statement piece, and I like making statements with clothing. So I like to embellish vests, and, I get little patches and I sew them on. And one that I've been working on for a while now, it takes so much time because I don't have time to sit down and just finish something all in one sitting. It takes much more thought and time than that. but I created like this whole little scene on the back of the jean vest where there's a hot air balloon patch, and then, there's a tree that I beaded, and I created like this little park scene. Like there's a van, there's a tree, I made like a road at the very bottom of the vest, and then like there's birds, and there's a kite, and there's clouds, there's a rainbow, and there's just, I got all of these patches separately, and I just made it into like sort of like something that tells a little bit of a story. So that's the back of the vest, and then I'm working on the front.
Creativity just doesn't stop for this young lady.
Yeah, so I like creating things that are unique. I don't like things that are cookie cutter and fit into like a box. I like breaking the mold, even if it's something that I just like sew and sell on my Etsy page.
Do you think we all have a little artist inside of us?
I think, yeah, everyone does, even if it's just like the way that you appreciate art. You might not be the type of person that, is into acting, but you still enjoy listening to music, and you still like enjoy watching movies, and they're all art forms. So some people are on the receiving end, some people are on the giving end, some people are behind the scenes of the giving and creating part. So, just no one is the same, and everyone either creates or receives art in different ways, and it's all important.
Well, yeah, just even like when I saw you in Godspell, there's the relationship between the stage and the audience. There is
definitely.
There is an energy you get from both sides. I mean,
yes.
I've been on stage too, but really to finally see you act and sing in something, I was like, wow. Yeah, I can see this finally. Like, I get it now.
Right.
And to see it come alive, and the way you guys did come into the audience too, which was really nice touch to get us involved a little bit.
And I love doing that. I love interacting with the audience. Some audiences are easier than others, but when you have an audience that like really gets into it and they're really feeding off of the energy that's on stage, it like bounces back and forth, and then the actors feed off of that, and it just makes the show come alive, and it's so much better. Because when you have a responsive audience, it just fuels more passion and creativity and confidence.
Absolutely.
Really.
In everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you have mentioned that you have a fiancé now.
I do have a fiancé.
So, when did you get engaged?
I got engaged on May 27th of this year. So it hasn't been that long. It's, still all kind of very fresh. But yeah, we got engaged. And
where?
In New York City, in Central Park, in a boat, where, we had gone on a date there, I think 2 years ago when I lived in New York at the time. He came to visit me, and, we went on one of the little rowboats, and it was just one of my fonder memories from my time in New York. And he knows how much I really love New York. And so he decided to take me on this little trip. It was kind of like roundabout, so I never would have seen it coming in a million years. We flew up to Buffalo. We took a road trip to Montreal, spent a few days there, and then drove down to New York. And he made it seem like a last-minute decision. And I was like, he was like, oh yeah, we might go, we might not. And I was like, oh yeah, like that would be cool if we did, if we have time. And he was like, yeah, we probably can. He just made it seem like so casual and nonchalant. So we went to visit his brother who lives in Manhattan. And as soon as we got there, he was like, all right, like, get dressed and ready to go. I was like, what are we doing? He was like, we're going to go to Central Park.